Samantha Potter. I'm the Ward 5 representative on the Park District Board and currently the president. And I want to welcome you today. I almost feel like we need a moment of silence for this gorgeous pine forest that we're in, but please enjoy it as much as I am. Welcome to the celebration of the Joyce Stevens Monterey Pine Preserve. Can we just... I'm going to introduce a few people who are here. There's so many people here who are instrumental in this, but so I know I'm going to miss some, but here we go. First of all, Joyce Stevens, you've all seen her. The Park District Board of Directors, Kathleen Lee, Kevin Raskoff, Kelly Sorensen, former board member, but involved in all this, Mary Dayton. Is John DeLessio here? I didn't see him come in. He was a board member while some of this happened too, so I'm new. Dr. Raphael Pan. And just for any of the staff that are around, a thank you to all of their staff for putting this together. They worked all morning getting it. They're still shuttling people, so we decided that the park staff are essential workers, right? And I'd also like to introduce Representative Sam Farr, State Senator Bill Monning, Supervisor Mary Adams, are Bill and Nancy Paraki here? I know they are on my list. Okay,
and Mayor
hopefully.
Potter.
Oh, on vacation. All right. No, that's not allowed. And Mayor Potter. And any county staff that are here, they've been a terrific partner on this. You are, by the way, in a county park right now. This is Jack's Peak County Park. But if you drove up the road, which everybody did, while you were on the road, you were in the Pine Preserve. And the sign down there is in the Monterey Pine Preserve. So apparently there's been some discussion, are we renaming Jack's Peak? No. There's a great map that is right here that shows both the Pine Preserve and the Jack's Peak, so you can see that. And I think at this point, the person who'd like to speak first is our guest of honor, Joyce Stevens.
Well, what a treat to look at this audience and see all kinds of old friends. And I don't mean to emphasize the word old, but that's what I am. And so I want to thank all of you for taking the time to come out on this hot day. Oh, we don't have too many of them, and so we won't fry. And I want to say that it's been a great honor all these years coming down from Alaska. And the reason I came down from Alaska is because I found out what great people live here. And I said to myself, those are my people. They don't cut down pine trees. And we don't have that many pine trees in Alaska. And so I would like to speak to every one of you. I speak to the few that I've met today so far. And I hope to get around to saying hello and thank you to everybody here. I'm the one that should say thank you. Thank you for being around for so many years and doing so many wonderful things. And there's no other place on earth like this, because there's no other people on earth like you. So thank you so much for being here, and I hope I get around to see everybody.
Now I'd like to introduce Dr. Payan. And let me first say, he has been the general manager now for 7 years? Great. And he has been great to work with. Something that's little known is that he and Joyce designed the sign. I hope everybody looked at it. We've got a big picture of it here. And this guy built it.
Yeah, he did.
So, pretty cool. Yeah.
I often tease Joyce being an architect, and I studied, but I never became licensed. And so I'd like to say that I'm still doing my architect in training under the great Joyce Stevens, architect. So, thank you, folks. It was a glorious drive up, don't you believe? Just a glorious drive up, a glorious day. Again, as was mentioned, glorious people in this group. And really, when you look at this, this is the culmination and the beginning and the continuation of several things. Vision. Thank goodness that someone and someone's had the vision to protect and preserve this mountain when they did, and its forest. Thank goodness that those same people shared their vision and it became a mission, and that mission became reality. And we had Jack's Peak, and now we have the Joyce Stevens Monterey Pine Preserve. And thank goodness also that, like yourselves, that we celebrate that aspect of coalition. One person is strong, two people are even stronger, 2,000 are even stronger than that. And that's what caused this. This is the hallmark of an incredible effort of culmination, beginning and continuation of a coalition. Everybody here has participated and will continue participating in this. My grandmother, when I was a little kid, she would tell me all these stories from my dad's culture and such like that. And she used to tell me, she'd say, you know, everything has a soul. And I'd say, everything, Grandma? And she'd say, everything. Even rocks? She'd say, yes. She said to me, you're standing on a rock right now, and that rock gives you life. It's called Earth. These trees, as Joyce was mentioning, are old friends. I am sure that there are many trees right around us right now that are much older than all of us, or any of us. And my grandma used to say that nature spoke to itself and it spoke to us. And that if we listened very carefully, that nature would teach us how to live right. And in looking at that, we would learn how to live well and take care of nature, and nature would take care of us. So again, I want to thank Joyce Stevens for being my mentor, friend, hero. And again, I thank you for making this possible, and everybody else, the Bates family, the Bigster Land Trust, all of this. And as she says, the Blarney, there's a ton of it, and there's a ton of it more, but I'll get off stage in a few seconds. But anyways, the long and short of this is, let us celebrate this magical day for a magical person who achieved a magical thing amongst a bunch of other magical folks. Thank you so very much. Be well.
Now I'd like to introduce David Foster Bates, and I think maybe you can tell us about the history.
Well,
You going to do that?
a teeny bit.
Okay, thank you.
What a great day. What a great day. So, my name is David Foster Bates. When it comes to the Monterey Pine Forest in general, and Jack's Peak in particular, I wear a couple of hats. I'm representing today my late parents, Margaret and Talcott Bates, and the Bates family. My parents were the founders of Jack's Peak County Park. When they donated the land, which became the core of the park, their vision was a 2,000-acre park, a wilderness in the city, accessible to those seeking peace, quiet, and rejuvenation in a beautiful, pristine forest close to home. For 50 years, the management of the park has been consistent with that vision. But for those same 50 years, the 2,000-acre park remained elusive. Today, with the dedication of the Joyce Stevens Pine Forest Preserve, that 2,000-acre park is now a reality. My parents' vision is complete. We now truly have our wilderness in the city. What more could we ask for than that Joyce should be honored for her tireless, persistent, and successful efforts to preserve the Monterey Pine Forest, and for all that she has done to make our peninsula a better place to live. I remember Howard Brunn, whom many of you probably knew, told me when it came to the Hatton Canyon Coalition, he said, you know, David, if you ever need to get anything done, make sure Joyce is on your team. And that is certainly the case here. So Joyce, My parents would salute you, Joyce.
Wow.
I salute you.
Oh,
We all salute you, Joyce. Thank you very much for
thank
all
you,
you've done.
David. Thank you, David.
Thank you, visionary parents. And thank you for all that. It's amazing. All right. Our last speaker today is Kathleen Lee, and she has been a member of the Park Board since 2011. She worked for county and federal government for 22 years, and she lists the district's acquisition and naming of the Joyce Stevens Monterey Pine Forest as an accomplishment she is really proud of. She's now the executive director of Point Lobos Foundation.
Bring the mic down, says Nikki. Yes. I just wanted to say thank you so much for everyone who has joined us here today. They say third time's a charm, and so for some of you, this truly is the third time in getting an invitation to come and celebrate Joyce. And it couldn't have turned out to be a better crowd or a better day. So thank you for your patience with us as we work to really put together a wonderful ceremony for Joyce. And in that vein, I wanted to say thank you to a few important people who make today possible. Nikki, Maggie, we have Monta and Jackie, I think, come in, Raphael, Deborah, and the entire Park District staff. It really took quite a village to pull this off and make everything happen, so I wanted to say thank you. Also to David for donating the books for later today, so I appreciate that. I was reflecting upon when I first met Joyce, and that was over 2 decades ago, and she came and was lobbying on what issue I can't really remember. But I remember that she had fire in her belly. She had passion in her heart, and she had a twinkle in her eye. And she was really determined to make sure that we fell in love with the issue that she was advocating as much as she loved it. And I think that's Joyce's special gift, is she doesn't just ask people for something. She tells you, she educates you as to why it's important. And today, this is really a legacy of that lifetime of advocacy, because there are people in the audience and people who aren't here with us today but are represented who have been with her all along the way. So you might have been a pine nut, you might have been a Hatton Canyon person, you might have been Pine Forest Watch, but we were all friends of Joyce. And I think that's the thing that unites us today. I also remember Joyce would bring in plans, and I had great affection for her amazing handwriting. So when we were designing the sign and the invitations, that was something we were trying to model, but it's hard to emulate and get just right. But Joyce would also bring models and these beautiful creations, which I loved, because some people are auditory learners, some people are visual learners, some people need to touch and feel. And she made sure that your interaction with her, that she hit all 3 of those things, just because she's an educator at heart. And I think one of the things that I learned about was how important it is to preserve this area for future generations. And when I first met Joyce, I didn't have kids. And I remember having a conversation with my parents, and my dad said, of course, you're looking at hills and you're looking at forests that I used to look at and that your grandparents looked at. And one day your children will look at that because you have conserved this area. And I think in that vein, it really struck home how important Joyce's efforts were. And so when the Park District acquired the property in 2015, and we were doing the negotiations with the Pebble Beach Company, what struck me is Joyce would also take the time to tell everyone about a conversation that she had had years ago with the Pebble Beach Company. And I think, Dave, back when you were on city council, so with the Wayback Machine, that Pebble Beach Company had said property needed to be conserved as part of their ultimate development deal. And Joyce wasn't going to let anyone forget that. And today is really a reflection of her remembrance of that and telling people and educating policymakers. And when you did so, Joyce, I never imagined being on the Park District, never imagined being a policymaker in that way. But when we did acquire the property, what struck me is we needed to name it after the person who made it possible. And when you look around Monterey County, we're getting better, But we don't have a lot of properties named for women. And so for me, that was also really important, was to honor her legacy and the legacy of women that were with her and supporting her in those efforts, who sometimes do a lot of work and don't always get acknowledged. So that, for me, was really important. And I think as we think about, and David mentioned it was your parents' dream. And I just want to read from the book that we're going to be, that's over here, that Joyce and David and Nikki and Rita D'Alessio wrote, that they describe this 1,950 acres, so that the Pine Preserve and Jack's Park, as the largest contiguous tract of Monterey Pine Forest in the world. By conserving such a large area of both core forest and undeveloped habitat, there is more likelihood that pines and their plant and animal associates can be sustained as environmental conditions fluctuate. And I think we're certainly in an area and a time where conditions are fluctuating, and we understand the importance of this habitat more and more. So Joyce, thank you for all of your hard work, your passion, the twinkle in your eye, and maybe those oatmeal cookies too. But also the legacy is that you have taught a generation of community and policymakers to love the Monterey Pine Forest as much as you have. And these individuals who will work to preserve and conserve this important habitat, that we have a healthy and vibrant forest to enjoy. So please join me in saying thank you to everyone here today, but also, most importantly, to Joyce Stevens. You're welcome.
That's it. No more speeches. But I want to thank you for being here, and I want to thank you for caring about the pine forest. I think everybody here has had some role in putting on today, but more importantly in preserving the pine forest. So I'm grateful to all of you. And to Joyce, and there's a book over here that was written by Joyce and David Foster Bates and Nikki Netta, is that how you say it? Yes. I'm sorry. And Rita D'Alessio. And you are free to take one with you. And there are stickers, and there's actually a sticker that got signed by the authors. So be sure to get one of those. Stick around a little bit, help yourself to water. Did I miss anything?
Enjoy.
All right. So great to see you. Enjoy your time. Thanks for everything.